Welcome everyone to the Sales Genie training. Sales Genie is a wonderful tool that Total Merchant Services makes available to you or sales partner. And today we have a special guest, Sophia, on the line with us that's going to show us exactly how you can navigate through Sales Genie, how you can actually customize the reports you want to pull, itemize the leads into geographical locations, size of company, number of employees. So without further ado, Sophia, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor.
Excellent. Thanks, Andy. Thanks, everyone, for taking the time to join today's Sales Genie training. My name is Sophia Husseini. I'm going to be your sales trainer today. And the goal of today's training is to really walk you through the features and functionality of the Sales Genie solution and how to really utilize Sales Genie going forward as both your daily prospecting tool as well as your daily researching tool. Now, as you all know, Sales Genie is a web-based solution. You can access Sales Genie anywhere you have internet capabilities simply by going to www.salesgenie.com. Now, Sales Genie is username and password protected, as you can see here. I've already logged in to my Sales Genie account. So this is the home page of Sales Genie, and today we're really going to focus in on the top two databases. So to start, I'd like to introduce those databases to you. From there, we'll talk about how to build a list and identify those targeted prospects, how to view business profiles, how to export the data from Sales Genie, and we'll also talk about how to find a business within the tool. So the top two databases, we'll start out with the U.S. business database. That consists of 24 million businesses. Those are primarily businesses that have been in business for 1 year or longer. So it's going to be your more established organizations. We do update this database once per month, so the information is constantly being updated and refreshed. So if a business moves, goes out of business, or contacts change, you're getting that updated information on a monthly basis. The second database that you have access to is our U.S. new business database, which consists of 4 million new businesses. New businesses are classified as businesses that may or may not have their doors open quite yet. So we get that information when they file for a business license, utility connect, phone connect. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they're open for business. So timing is of the essence. So we're actually updating our new business database every single week. It updates every Friday morning around 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. So every Friday morning, you're accessing those businesses that you did not have the week before. Now, with your Sales Genie access, you do have unlimited viewing, unlimited searching capabilities. So as you build your list, I always encourage you to save those. As you can see here, you can save as many lists as you'd like. There are no limitations, and those saved searches will always be available within your Sales Genie account unless you delete them. So definitely no downside in saving those searches. Now you'll notice that within the databases there's two different capabilities. There's a find a business capability and a build a list capability. We're going to talk about both of these today, but I'm going to start out with the build a list capability first. The build a list capability really gives you the flexibility to go in and identify those demographics that are important to you, to really identify those prospects that you're targeting, whether it's via phone, via email, door-to-door, really a multi-channel approach to increase your business. So you'll see on the left side of the page we have our simplified search flow. these are all of the demographics that you can pick and choose from to build a targeted list. Today, for training purposes, I'm going to build a list so that you can see how quick and easy it is to identify those targeted prospects. We're going to start with industry selects first. So if there's a particular industry or vertical that you're looking to target, you can identify that here. The first option is going to be by keyword. So you can simply input that keyword, and Sales Genie is going to identify anything that's a closely related match. Now, Sales Genie is compatible with 2, 4, and 6-digit SIC codes. If you're looking to see the 2 or 4-digit codes, you can simply select the show to 2 to 4-digit SIC codes icon here. So it does give you a ton of flexibility. So from here, you can either select that 2, 4, or 6-digit SIC code. Your 6-digit SIC codes are always going to be the most specific. Another way of identifying that is by your SIC codes or NAICS codes. You definitely have the ability to plug those in individually. If you have a pre-built list of those, feel free to copy and paste them here. Or you also have the ability to search for them within our dictionary. You can search for those either alphabetically or numerically. Now, as you make your selections, be sure to click on Run Search on the bottom right corner of the page. That's going to accept your search criteria, and it's going to update your record count for you so that you know exactly how many prospects you have so far. We'll give that a moment to update. Another way of identifying your industry is by major industry group. This is going to list out those industries to begin with. And then from there, of course, you have the ability to expand that out. So it'll go from your 2 to your 4 to your 6-digit, and then you can kind of pick and choose those verticals that you're targeting. So just a different way or another way of identifying that industry or that vertical. Next criteria is going to be business size. That includes number of employees. So here you have the ability to utilize the preset buckets on the top of the page. Or you also have the ability to be more specific down below. Let's just say that we're targeting 10 to 99 employees as an example, and we'll hit Run Search, and that'll again update our record count for us. We'll give that a second to update. Under business size, we also have annual sales volume, and that works the exact same way. You have the ability to select the preset bucket, or you also have the option to be more specific and plug in those numbers down below. Lastly, we also have office size. That's going to include the square footage of the building, number of PCs, and their annual business expenditure. So this is really going to give you a good idea as to what they're spending every single year around these 14 business expense categories. Continuing along, our next criteria is geography, and that's going to be an important one because, you know, you're within a U.S. database, so it's very important to go in and identify that particular area or territory that you're targeting. And there's many different ways of doing that, as you can see here. Some of the basic ones are going to be city, state, metro area. Probably the one that's most popular is zip code. So you'll see here that you can plug in multiple zip codes You can also plug in ranges, just like my example shows here. Or you also have the ability to copy and paste your zip code. So if you have a list of 25, 30, or 50 zip codes, definitely feel free to copy and paste those here so that you're not having to manually key those in individually. Another one that might be extremely beneficial for you is the radius capability. This is all about being able to identify nearby neighbors, and it's also going to not only help you map out your day more effectively, but it's also going to help you increase your productivity. So really here you can plug in that address, that zip code, maybe of a set appointment that you have coming up, and then it's asking for a radius, anywhere from a 0.1 mile radius all the way up to a 150-mile radius around that address. So, you know, for those of you that have high-rise buildings in your area, I would plug in a 0.1 mile radius. That's going to capture every single business in that one building. Maybe it's a business park. Depending on the size of that business park, you're looking at probably a 0.3, 0.4 mile radius around that address, or even just around that zip code. As you can see here, the address field is optional. Another select is our map-based search. So as you all know, Info Group, we power Google, and we also power Google Maps. So we have a great partnership with Google. What we've done here is we've actually integrated Google Maps directly into Sales Genie. So from here, up on the top left corner of the page, you have the ability to plug in either a city, state, or zip code, and it's going to identify the center of. From here, we can zoom in, zoom out. We can also click and drag to navigate the map to really identify that particular area that you're targeting. Now, we also have a tutorial built in. You'll see up on the top right corner where it says View Tutorial. That's a quick 2-minute video. Goes over our entire Google Maps integration. So I would definitely encourage you to take a look at that at your convenience. Again, it goes over everything you need to know about our Google Maps integration. So you'll see up on the top of the page, you have many different options as far as selecting that particular area. So for example, if I were to define a radius, this is about just over a 1 mile radius, 1.12. It's telling us that there are 266 results. So what does that mean? Right? So what that means is there are 266 restaurants with 10 to 99 employees in this particular area. So it is taking into consideration any of the other demographics that you've selected so far. So really, these are targeted prospects. If I select Done, you'll notice here it's going to accept that geography, and it's going to update my record count for me. So essentially, those are the top 3 demographics that we want to make sure we're selecting every single time within the U.S. Business Database. I'm going to touch on some others that are definitely optional. But again, industry, business size, and geography, those are the most important ones. So moving along here, we have some business characteristics. I'll highlight those that might be important to you. That includes type of company, specifically the type of location. I know a lot of folks that I work with are typically targeting either a headquarter location or a single location so that you can reach that end decision maker that really has those decision-making capabilities. So what that's going to do is it's going to suppress out every branch and subsidiary location. We also have executive title. We do have about 30 unique job titles for you to choose from. Feel free to select as many of these as you'd like. We have everything from owner, CEO, president, general manager, HR executive, marketing executive, finance executive. So you'll see, I'll scroll down the list, but again, about 30 unique job titles for you to choose from. Feel free to select as many of these as you'd like. What I like to do here is I like to leave this field open, and in that case, it's going to give me every single contact that we have for these businesses, regardless of their job title. So I can kind of pick and choose who I'm targeting. My data, I'm actually going to come back and talk about my data in a moment. But one thing I'd like for you to all know is that now we have a basic lead manager built into Sales Genie. So it's going to give you those basic capabilities of plugging in your notes, follow-ups, and really staying nice and organized when you're logged in to Sales Genie. And that's really the idea. Again, I'll talk more about that here in a moment. Lastly, exclusions. If there's anything that you would like to exclude or omit, you can definitely do that using those selects on the bottom left corner of the page. Of course, once you're done building your list, the first thing that you want to do is to save it, and you can do that just by selecting the Save icon here. Of course, you want to be specific with that search name so that you know exactly what that search consists of, because you can always go back at a later time and access that saved search. So from here, like I said earlier, it's unlimited viewing, unlimited searching. So one option is to simply go scrolling down and viewing all of these key data elements, right? So that's option number one. Option number two is our side panel. You'll see the double arrows up on the top right corner. Feel free to expand those. So there's a few different tabs within the side panel. We'll give that a second to load. So the first tab, again, is the Summary tab. It will just give you those basic data elements. If you'd like to view the full business profile, you can definitely do that, either by selecting View More Details or by selecting the company name here. Either one of those will redirect you to the full business profile. The second tab is where the lead manager begins. Here you have the ability to plug in your notes, schedule your follow-up, you also have the ability to identify the lead status. We have hot lead, warm lead, cold lead, customer, or dead lead. You have the ability to create tags. These are going to be created by you as the user. And tags are going to be similar to groups or folders like you have in your email. So you have the ability to create these tags or folders. You also can color code them. And then you can plug those particular leads into that group that you've created. So maybe I'm creating a group titled Calls for Friday, and when Friday comes around, I'll kind of circle back on those. That last tab, that timestamps everything for you, provides you with all of your activity. Now you'll see we have some icons that come through as well. We have our note icon, tags icon. Now, if you see this green arrow, that means that you've exported that record. So we do keep track of your exports for you so that you don't have to. And then, of course, the lead status icon. So now, if you do decide to use the lead manager, now you'll be able to use My Data very quickly, very easily. You'll be able to search for those hot leads. Or maybe you'd like all of your calls for Friday. or maybe you want all of your follow-ups for today. So that's really the idea, is to help you stay nice and organized within the tool. Again, it's really optional for you to utilize, but if you don't have a CRM, this is a great alternative, very basic, very simple to use. Let's go ahead and take a look at the business profile for Blues. We'll simply click on the business name. This is going to be an example of what a business profile looks like within Sales Genie. We have a quick summary of the business. Again, you'll see all of your lead manager capabilities within the tool. Management directory. We also have an integration with LinkedIn. For those of you that are LinkedIn users, here you have the ability to plug in your LinkedIn username and your LinkedIn password. You only have to do that once. After that, it will retain that for you. The idea there is it's going to provide you with any first, second, or third degree connections that you have via LinkedIn. So if you're having a bit of a challenge getting in the door, this is really going to assist you with getting those introductions and those referrals. Additional company information, industry profile, their annual business expenditures, key competitors, nearby businesses. Anytime you see anything in blue that's a hyperlink, you can click on it. It'll redirect you to their full business profile. Address information. Now, let's just say that you have an appointment with Blues. 2519 North Halstead Street. The next question you should ask yourselves is, who else can I meet with in that area? Right here, you can plug in that same radius search that I mentioned earlier. Anywhere from a 0.1 mile radius up to a 150-mile radius around this address. So definitely take advantage of that for clover leasing. Company description, corporate information, business credit rating brought to you by Info Group, historical data. Of course, you can get your driving directions to and from using our Google Maps integration. And in some cases, you'll also be able to get a picture of the business. So there it is. You know exactly what you're looking for when you're out in the field. So quite a bit of intelligence within every single business profile. Definitely take advantage of that. It's unlimited. So you can access all of this intelligence as much as you'd like. Now let's talk about exporting. You'll also, of course, have exporting capabilities. Typically, as a user, you receive 1,000 lead credits per month. That equates to 1,000 unique exports per month. So let me just go ahead and select some records that I haven't exported, right, that don't have that green drop-down arrow. Let's go ahead and select 5 of these. I've cherry-picked them. I'm very targeted with my exporting. And then I can simply select the export option. So essentially, you'll have the first 2 selects with the export. It'll be either print. Print is via Adobe Acrobat, so it's a PDF format. And you can see here that you have many different options when it comes to the level of detail. Or you'll have the option to download via spreadsheet. That includes CSV, tab delimited, or Excel. And again, many different options when it comes to the level of detail. So I'll just go ahead and do a basic Excel spreadsheet. We'll go ahead and select download. And at that time, it's going to go ahead and deduct those 5 lead credits from my running total. So just some simple math there. And give me just a few seconds here to share that Excel spreadsheet with you. It's still downloading. We'll give it a few more seconds. And let me just see how I can share that with you all. 1 second. There we go. So you should be seeing that spreadsheet. So really, we're taking those key data elements, we're plugging it into a spreadsheet format. This is the basic export, so it's giving you those basic data elements. But of course, from here, you have the ability to customize this how you'd like. You can print it, you can email it, you can save it to your desktop. So you really have a ton of flexibility once you've exported it. Okay, I'm getting a message saying you can't see it, so let me try that again.
Yeah, we just lost your screen, so.
Any luck?
There we go. Got it back. Thank you.
Perfect. So is that the Excel spreadsheet that you're seeing or Sales Genie?
It's the Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, perfect. So that's what the Excel spreadsheet looks like. Let me go back to Sales Genie here, see if I can do that. Can you see my Sales Genie screen?
Nope, we lost you again.
Alrighty. Any better?
There we go. Got the Sales Genie
Perfect.
screen now.
Excellent. So really, that's the exporting. It's either using that print option or using that download option via spreadsheet. And now you'll see that the top, these 5 that we exported are now identified with that green arrow. So now you know you've exported that record, so it'll be identified as such. Now, let's just say 2 months down the road you wanted to export these records again. Definitely feel free to do so. It's not going to charge you a lead credit twice. So next time you go to export these records, it's not even going to bring up that lead credit screen. It'll bypass that because it's not going to charge you a lead credit twice. So really, that's a full build a list capability from start to finish. It's all about going in, identifying those demographics that are important to you. Again, it's unlimited viewing, unlimited searching. Definitely be sure to save your searches. And also definitely check out the lead manager. Like I said, there's no downside. It's really going to help you stay nice and organized within the tool. The second capability that I wanted to talk about today is the Find a Business capability. The Find a Business capability is a reverse search. So I know in some cases you might already have some basic information to begin with, right? Maybe it's a referral that you received or someone that you met at a networking event, or you're driving down the street and you see a business name and you're looking to capture additional intelligence. That's when you're going to utilize the Find a Business capability. As you can see here, you only have to fill out 1 or more of these fields, whether it's a phone number or an executive or a business name. Just depends on the information that you have. So I'll just go ahead and plug in an example here. The company name, will simply select View Results. Now, just keep in mind that, in some cases, you might get 1 match. But in other cases, you might get hundreds of matches. It just depends on the data that you're plugging in. So maybe it's a chain, then you definitely want to narrow it down by plugging in the city or the state, right? So you're not working off of hundreds of results. So in this case, there's only 1 Bistro Margot in the U.S. It's here in Chicago. So I plugged in that business name, and now here we have those basic data elements. But as we all know, we can select that business name, and that's, of course, going to help us fill in the missing pieces of the puzzle. Now, what we don't know, we have access to literally within seconds by using the Find a Business capability. So I can really go through and take a look at all of that additional intelligence. Now, let's just say that I have an appointment with Bistro Margot on Wednesday of this week. The next question I ask myself is, well, who else can I meet with? So what I can do is I can come down here, plug in a 0.1 mile radius, and say, give me similar businesses that are within the same industry or the same SIC code within a 1 mile radius. So now here's Bistro Margot, and I have an additional 10 restaurants that are within 1 block. Now I go from having 1 appointment to having 11 appointments, right? Because these are other businesses. I know they're a great fit for my services. They profile similar to Bistro Margot, and they're within 1 block. I can walk to them. So it's all about increasing your productivity when you're out in the field. Instead of meeting with one business, now you have the opportunity to meet with 11 businesses. So definitely take advantage of that radius capability or that identifying nearby neighbors capability. It's extremely powerful. The other select that you want to take advantage of, available within every business profile, you'll see it up on the top right corner of the page. It's our clone capability. You have the ability to clone your best prospects or your best customers. It's always going to clone these 3 demographics: executive title, SIC code, and number of employees. And then, of course, you can take it to the next level by plugging in that metro area or that zip code or that radius that you're targeting. But the key is that it's taking into consideration these 3 demographics that profile either just like your best prospects or just like your best customers. Again, that's our clone capability, now available within every single business profile. So again, the find a business capability, very powerful. So reverse search capability, plug in the information that you do have, and we'll identify that prospect for you within the tool. The second database that I wanted to talk about today is our U.S. New Business Database. I know I mentioned it to you earlier. 4 million brand new businesses. Let's go ahead and take a look at the build a list. These are going to be your more hot or warm leads. We're updating this database every Friday on a weekly basis. Now, the question that I get around our new businesses often is, how new are these businesses? Well, you define that. As a default, we're giving you all of the new businesses in the last year. But you can change that time frame, which I encourage you to do. Since you're using Sales Genie either daily or weekly, every Friday you want a brand new batch, a brand new list of new businesses. And in order to get that, you're going to have to change your time frame. So again, as a default, it's giving you all, which is the last year. I encourage you to change that to the last week to start. So you're only working with those new businesses that were added into the database this past Friday. Of course, you also want to go in and plug in your geography, so we'll do that here in a moment. Let's just keep it nice and simple. I'll go ahead and plug in a radius around my zip code, keep it nice and small. And it's always going to be a small targeted number, right? So there's 15 new businesses that were added into Sales Genie this past Friday in a 1 mile radius of my zip code. Now, I always have to set the right expectation when it comes to new businesses. It's raw data. We don't know that much about them. In some cases, we might not have a phone number or we might not have a contact name. So do keep that in mind because our goal is timing. It's to get you this information now versus later, and again, an update on a weekly basis. Now, you do have the ability to automate this process by setting up new lead alerts. You'll see the alerts icon here up on the top left corner of the page. It's going to ask you to name your alert, and it's also going to ask you how frequently you'd like to receive those, and of course, you want to get those on a weekly basis because we update the database weekly. So we'll go ahead and add that alert starting this Friday the 10th, and every Friday going forward, I'm going to get an email from help@salesgenie.com as a best practice, as a reminder, it's going to notify me that my new leads are now available within my Sales Genie account. And I'll get that email every Friday. Now, if you set up 5 alerts, which you can set up as many alerts as you'd like, please do keep in mind that you'll get an email from us for every single alert. Now, you do have the ability to manage those new lead alerts within your My Account tab. That second tab over is titled New Lead Alert. So all of your new lead alerts will populate here. Again, the last fulfillment date was this past Friday the 3rd. And this Friday, it'll change to the 10th, and then every Friday going forward. Here you'll be able to change out the frequency, but most importantly, you can view those on a weekly basis. Again, those are brand new businesses that are just filing for a business license, utility connect, phone connect, so timing is of the essence. Now, if at any time you're wondering how many lead credits you have available within your Sales Genie account, you can view that information right here on the Sales Genie homepage. Also, we do have a dedicated support team for Total Merchant Services. Should you have any questions, feel free to call us toll free at 866-387-0515. You can, of course, email us directly as well. We also have some great training materials built into the tool, frequently asked questions, great videos. So definitely take a look at those at your convenience. It just helps, as you're starting to utilize the tool and you have questions. These are great best practices that have helped other users successfully utilize the tool as well. So that's all I have, Andy. I'll pass it back to you for any questions that the team might have.
Great. Thank you so much, Sophia. That was a beautiful job as always. So what we're going to do now, friends, is we're going to open up the chat box. So if you have any questions at all, go ahead and type in the question into the chat box. And then depending on who's got the best answer, Sophia or myself will answer those for you. So one of the things I wanted to remind you all is this is such a fantastic tool. And if you are a brand new sales partner of ours, within your first 30 days, we're going to give you free access to Sales Genie. And within that free access, you can have 100 free credits. So if you're just viewing deals or viewing businesses, you can actually call off the screen, and that doesn't utilize a credit. It's when you download it into a dialer, or if you download to print it, as she showed you, that's when you use a credit. Now, after the first 30 days, if you're producing 5 merchant IDs a month, we'll continue to give it to you for free, and we'll up that to 1,000 free credits a month after your first 30 days if you're producing 5 merchants or more. Now, if you fall below that 5 merchants but you still want to keep the Sales Genie access, we give you a discounted rate of only $100 a month, and each month you pay that $100, you'll get an additional 1,000 free credits, or 1,000 credits involved in that $100. So as you can see here, you can really customize and scrub down lead lists that are going to be perfect for your audience. So think about this. If you want to go chase Groove prospects, we know Groove is a beautiful point-of-sale system, but it's not for businesses that might have 200 employees and 15 or 20 stations. It's really going to be unique to small retailers or small businesses. So you can really scale down your search down to restaurants or businesses with just a handful of employees. You can also pull up businesses with just a handful of employees, and you can go start telling them about EMV and Ingenico terminals. And once again, using that geo search capability that Sophia told you about, you can really make the best use of your day. So if you have 1 or 2 appointments set within a geographical location, just set that radius to 1 mile or less, and you really can get a nice little dedicated hunting list for yourself to go out there and do that. So what a wonderful tool this is, and we highly recommend you utilize it to really start building out your business. So let us see if we have any questions. Sophia, if you had any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat box.